G'day and welcome to A Down Under Yarn. I am your host Fiona, also known as Fifykins. I'm Fifykins almost everywhere on the internet, so please feel free to look me up and say g'day. I'd like to welcome everyone, people who are checking me out for the first time and returning viewers as well. Please feel free to come and join our Ravelry group, which is A Down Under Yarn. And I think we are almost at 200 members, so that's very exciting. What else? I'm operating without show notes today, so I'm hoping to actually get this done quicker. I'm arguing there isn't a lot for me to talk about, so I'm hoping to get this done a bit quicker, and then I've got to go and pick up Jasper from school. So that's my time limit, because I've been a bit waffly the last couple of weeks, and that's something I'm aware of. Okay, Administratia first. I'm going to Bendigo! Bendigo Sheep and Wool Festival, or Australian Sheep and Wool Festival, held at Bendigo, is not this weekend but the following weekend. It's sort of Australia's Rhinebeck, I think. It's the closest thing we've got really to Rhinebeck, so really excited to be able to go. I'm flying down Thursday evening. Friday here is the Cairns Show public holiday, so the Cairns Show is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. I'll actually be at Cairns Show on Wednesday afternoon demonstrating spinning, which is quite funny, I think, that I will be doing that to the public when I'm such a new spinner myself, but that's okay. Thursday morning I'm helping out in the feed and change tent for the Breastfeeding Association. Even though I'm no longer involved with the Breastfeeding Association, I still like to help out at the show for them, and it's just being there making cups of tea for mums and dads if they bring in their bubs and things like that. So then Thursday evening I'm flying down to Melbourne. I don't get in till 11:30 or something really late, so I'm spending the evening at the airport in a hotel, not actually at the airport, and then picking up a hire car first thing Friday morning and driving up to Bendigo. Can't wait to stay with some people who I know from Ravelry, Facebook, Twitter, etc., which I'm really excited about. We've got a house on Lake Epilock, which is near Bendigo. We're going to stay there, so very exciting. Yeah, I'm trying to work out when would be a good time to meet up at Bendigo, and am not really sure of times yet. They don't have an official program. Their website for Australian Sheep and Wool is it's not the best. I'm trying to be polite here. It's crap. And they don't have the program out for this year. They've got some things that are listed there, but other times aren't listed there. So apparently they've got sheep shearing demonstrations. They don't say what time. It might be throughout the day. I'm not sure. They've got cooking demonstrations. They say when that is, but then one of them clashes with something else, and then there's a fashion parade. So if anyone would like to suggest a time for a meetup, please do. There is a thread in the Australian Knitters group. There's a thread in... No, there's not a thread in the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Festival thread group. There's one definitely there in the Australian Knitters group about Bendigo. So I'm just going to weigh in and suggest a time, and if that doesn't suit, so be it. And I'll confirm that next week with next week's show, which will probably be recorded on Tuesday because I've got the Cairns Show Wednesday, Thursday, then Bendigo. Week that was. It was my birthday, and thank you all so much for making it a really special day. I didn't have the best of days. Mimmel found out that he didn't pass his exam he'd sat. Only about a third of the people who sit it pass it, and as he said, he was sitting it for the second time. Most of the people who he was sitting it with were sitting it for the third, fourth or fifth time. There are some courses you can do. There is a regular weekly video link up with other international medical graduates around the state that he's going to try and get to as many as possible. And they do have some training sessions down south, Brisbane way, that he's also going to try and get down for one of those to try and help understand the questions better, because they're not the assessment's just really weird. But hey, it is what it is. I was pretty down about it, but he says, no, it is what it is. It's life. So that's what that is. So the people who sent me messages, who sent messages on Ravelry, who sent me patterns, I was pretty overwhelmed, and yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Apart from that, it's been a pretty quiet week. My mum went to Japan Monday evening with a friend of hers who was widowed earlier in the year, so two widows travelling together. Anyway, Imogen, I think, is a bit overwhelmed at. I think when you've been living somewhere for 3 months, like Tokyo, and have to come from a place like Cairns, which is a small town, and to say they were hesitant about catching the trains, Mum. They didn't really know what they were doing. And for her to know that that's what it's like for other people, it's a good experience for her, and it's good for them to be able to catch up with her as well. But she is home in 2 weeks, so really, really looking forward to having her back here. And I think she's looking forward to coming home too, although I don't think she'd admit that. Jasper came back last Wednesday evening and spent Thursday with me for my birthday, and then went back to his dad's for the weekend because Mimmel and I went to a beautiful wedding on Saturday. We drove down to Mission Beach, which is about 2 hours south of us, had the wedding. It was my friend married a Tongan chap, and it was a big hangi, which is pigs on spits and taro and sweet potato and all sorts of stuff like that. A very South Pacific Islander type culture. And it was just lovely catching up with people from uni I knew, meeting new people, and yeah, really, really fun time. Although we drove back Saturday evening because Mimmel worked on Sunday. So it meant I didn't get to bed or didn't get home until 12:30. He was able to get a bit of sleep in the car, which was good, but still, I'm still a bit tired from that experience. Apart from that, nothing much else. Still waiting for my yarn shipment to arrive. That is due any day now. Not sure when, but hopefully soon. And once that is here, I put all my paperwork in. I don't think I mentioned that, and got a lovely response from the provider who is putting me forward for the NIS funding, the New Enterprise Initiative Scheme. And she thinks it's fantastic. I had a big chat to her on the phone, I think on Wednesday or Friday. It must be Wednesday evening, actually. And big chat with her on the phone. There's some more details I'm chasing up for her. She wants to see samples and things. And apparently a couple of the people on the panel who have to recommend that I get the funding don't believe there's a market for yarn in Australia. So I've got to prove that there is. I have got the Ravelry figures. I've got the figures of how many Australians there are on Ravelry, how many people internationally there are on Ravelry. I've got heaps of information for them, so hopefully it's going to be enough. I might put up a survey, though, in the Australian Knitters group. I think I'll put a survey in there. Someone suggested this, which was a great idea, asking where people buy their yarn from and what sort of yarn they like to buy, type thing. So, and give some options, you know, independent dyers, chain store yarns, high-end yarns like Madeline Tosh, that sort of thing. And see if I can get some more data that way. Okay, now I think we can move into the crafting sections. I have been obsessed by spinning, and that's been to the detriment of everything else. As I said, I went to the wedding on Saturday, and I had planned to knit a cushion cover for them, a cushion cover, and then put a cushion inside it, and it just didn't get done. I sat down on Thursday and started it and ripped it out a couple of times because I wasn't happy with the way it was looking. Went down a needle size, I think, and then cast on a couple more stitches on each end, you know, that sort of stuff. So it took time. And then I thought, and I was giving them a voucher with it anyway, because, I don't know, I think I just undervalue my craftsmanship at times. But anyway, I wanted to give them a voucher because that's what they'd asked from people anyway. So I got that, and they had a note on the card that said part 2 is still coming. So I have, excuse me for leaning over, the starts of it here, which is not much. You can see. These are 6mm US 10 needles, and that I used Judy's Magic Cast On to cast on so that it would then form a cushion sized thing. I'm doing stockinette along the back, and it is the Twining Trees pattern. I have just started the bases of the trees in here. You'll see. Don't think that's going to focus very well. Anyway, This I had some Bendigo woolen mills, but only 8 ply, and I was going to do it in 8 ply, and then I thought, for all the extra stitches I'm going to have to cast on, I don't actually think I'm going to have enough yarn. So then I went to Spotlight because I knew they would have cream wool, and I wanted to do it in cream. So I ended up getting some Peyton's Inca, which is 50% pure new wool, 30% acrylic, 20% alpaca, made in China. It says it's hand wash only, but I think with the acrylic in there, it's not going to matter if it gets thrown on a woolen cycle in a machine by a non-knitter. It's a cream cushion for a newlywed couple who do actually have a 4-month-old baby. So I don't know. Whatever happens, happens. This is 58 metres per 50 gram ball. So I think I got 6 or 7 balls. Almost used one doing this bit. No, I haven't. I've used about half a ball, I think. So, yep, I'm going to get back onto that. Not sure when. I'm up to reading the chart now. It is, if you don't know it, I haven't brought it up on the iPad, so I won't get it up now. It's the Twining Trees pattern, which is a square. It's a pattern for a square, which I'm turning into the cushion, which people have done before me. And the trees are 2 trees with the branches that intertwine, and it reminds me of the wedding reading that's quite popular over here from the Prophet Gil Brain, which talks about the 2 trees being growing together on the bank and moving in the same rhythm but still being apart, which I think is a nice metaphor for a marriage. Still having your own sense of self as well. So that is that. The other thing is the blanket square, which is for another secret project, which is almost done. This is a column rib pattern, which you can see there. It has to be a 10-inch square. It stretches out a lot, which I'm really happy with. It will block out to 10 inches that way. I'm going to knit nearly to 10 inches length. I think it's at 8 inches at the moment, so I'll definitely have that finished tonight, blocked overnight and in the mail tomorrow. So I'm really sorry that it's taken so long. Every time I've tried something, it's failed. So at least I've got something now that is working. And it'll be all nice. This is Bendigo Woolen Mills Classic 8-ply. It's a crepe wool. I'm finding it quite splitty. It's still soft. Probably not something I would use for something for myself, although I might do, because I do understand that the being crepe and the way it's constructed does give some strength to a project, especially seeing it is 100% wool. So yeah. That is, I think, all my knitting. As I said, I don't have notes, so I did a couple of rows on my cursed cable socks and left them inside, so I'm just going to leave that. My spinning. So I've decided I'm going to keep a spinning section separate, so if you're not interested in spinning, you can just skip on for a bit. And I'm not going to do timestamps or anything. I'm really sorry, but yeah, I remember as a non-spinner, I did actually find people's spinning segments quite interesting, and I think that's what sort of drew me in a bit. I finished and plied and washed and thwacked my Yarn vs Zombies Calico Cat in the Corridale grip, and here it is. So I am pretty pleased with it. Can I get it to focus? Focus. No, not really, but you can kind of see there. Look, for my first braid, I'm actually really, really pleased with this. I got 150 yards exactly, and that is with this bit here. You can see in here the different colours, and I got quite a bit of barber piling, which is what I was after. And then, just excuse me, I have another bit. Where did I put it? I put it in a bowl. I've got so much lying here next to me. Here it is. It's right in front of me all the time. I had quite a bit left over in my second bobbin, and the second bobbin was the one I'd spun second, and it was thinner, obviously. So I put it into a centre pull ball and plied this bit here. So I'm hoping this is probably going to be enough for an hour puff. It is pretty unbalanced. It's a bit curvy at the bottom there. I think because it was from the same thing. I don't know. I've got no idea. I'm speaking out of my here. Anyway, so that is mainly 2 colours. The orangey tan and the grey. So again, really thrilled with how this has ended up. And yeah, so for my spinning in progress, because I've been procrastinating about doing that square, I've been telling myself I can't spin until I've done X rows or X number of somethings or whatever I've been telling myself. I probably haven't done as much spinning as I would have liked, but I've done quite a bit. So I got some Polworth, which is from Zazuela's Fibres. I got this when she was going out of business. So this is, trying to get a bit there to show you. This is 100% Polworth. It is in the Emeralds colourway. It's coming up a bit bluer there than it is. It's probably more a green than a blue. This is 1 2-ounce bobbin. I started the second bobbin last night, but hardly have anything on, so it's not much to show. And I have some of the fibre here. Sorry, I'm just call me disorganised. Here we are. So that's some of the fibre there that I've prepped in readiness for it. So I'm not spinning this any particular way. It will be what it is, and I will show that to you next week, I hope. Moving on to acquisitions. This is probably where most of my week is going to be. So as I said, it was my birthday, and I was part of a birthday swap in the Australian Swappers group, and I haven't got permission to say who I got this from, but it's on the board there. Anyway, I got a fantastic present, and I had to share it. I got some Lang Yarns Mia Kalori socks and lace, which is 75% wool, 25% nylon, and look at that, beautiful rainbow colours. I really love this. This is gorgeous, and I'm pretty sure it's going to become a TGV. I've been eyeing off that pattern for a while, and since I knit the owls recently, the Hogwarts, I think I would like to do something else, and I think the long colour changes would lend itself to that. Again, something you can knit until you use it all up. The second thing that was in my swap package was this amazing merino. Now, you can sort of see it here. It's sort of ocean colours. It's blues and greens. I'll be very gentle with it there. It's actually a lot greener than it's showing there. Oh, there we go. It's showing a bit more of the green. Yeah, so it's blues and greens and really gorgeous. That's 50 grams. It says it's spearmint colour. It feels really soft. I'm just scared to spin merino at the moment. I know I will have to jump on. I think we've got our challenge day for Tour de Fleece sometime coming up soon. So I will probably spin that for that. And the other thing I got, look how cute this is. This is a beautiful crocheted elephant. And look at its butt. I think its bottom is just gorgeous. And the person who gifted this to me said it was out of some of her first hand spun. And it's just amazing. I think, oh, she is just beautiful. Of course, I adore elephants, so absolutely perfect. Then, so that was and I've got some beautiful tea as well, which is really good. That's in the kitchen, so I've been drinking it. Then on Friday, I finally got my yarn for Tour de Fleece. Only took 3 weeks to get here. And of course I haven't cast it on yet because I've been trying to finish this blanket square. So I got 3 skeins of, where are we? Alchemy Yarns of Transformation, the Juniper Elements in the Cherry Heart colourway. So these are 3 50-gram skeins. That's actually a fairly accurate colour. It's a pinky red type thing. And I am going to knit an Isolde Teague pattern, which is the popular one, which is the shawl, which is the Ishbel. And I will do a large size to use up the yardage, a large size of the stockinette, and then several repeats of the lace. So I have to cast this on soon so I can get it finished by the end of the month. Because I also want to knit their new Retro Lemon pattern, their Moon Dance, and I have some yarn for that. Then, but wait, there's more. Yesterday in the mail, I received my club shipment from Yarn vs Zombies if you haven't received your club shipment, oh, this was had previews anyway, so that's okay. This was the Downton Tea and Downton Club. This is from Downton Abbey, and it's the Hunting Tweed colourway. Isn't that just beautiful? I am absolutely thrilled. It is just gorgeous. So I'm not sure if it's going to become a hat or a cowl or what. It is in the most beautiful, it's the wispy base, which is like a single superwash merino, 100 grams, 400 yards. Oh, it's beautiful. Really, really lovely. Really looking forward to that. The second thing that came yesterday was my Into the World. And my Into the World yarn. Now this is my last shipment of yarn from Into the World. There we are. This is the End of Innocence, and look at it, isn't it stunning? It's got the beautiful purple into the mauve with the greens, and then more purpley up the top and into the orangey reds. Oh, this is the Tachula base, which is a 3-ply yarn, 2 plies of superwash merino, 1 ply of merino, and I just adore it. I think this is just the most beautiful dye job. And it's one of those yarns that I think I could just look at, but I won't, I know. I used this for my pagoda, this yarn base, so I know it's up beautifully, and this will probably become another shawl this time for me. So, yeah, oh, it's just lovely. And that is 400 yards. As I said, it was my last yarn shipment for the club because I contacted Chris and said, I'm a beginner spinner. When you've got space, I'd like to move across to the fibre club. And she goes, we can do that now. And I said, okay. So I am going to be getting the, what am I getting? I'm going to be getting the basic everyday fibre, not the luxury, the normal one. The normal. That seems to say that luxury fibre is not normal. Luxury fibre is normal. But wait, that's not all. When 3 Irish Girls announced that she was finishing off her clubs, I had a credit. And I had a few days to choose what yarn I wanted, and I ummed and ahed and decided that I would go with the yarn colour that convinced me to try the club in the first place. I had a friend who was in the club. This is when I first started knitting, and she really recommended it. And she, I kept going to the website. I got a lovely thank you card, which is really lovely. It was really quite sad opening up this and seeing my last brown paper bag with a teal sticker on it, because there's no more coming, because it's all coming through yarn shops now. It was always nice presentation, and it always was really nice to try and ease off the sticker without ripping too much of the bag. Anyway, that's just me being nostalgic. The yarn I ordered, this originally came out, I think, on the Glenhaven Cashmerino worsted. I actually ordered the Glenhaven Cashmerino fingering. It's a Summer Embers colourway, and it reminds me of pansies for some reason. It's just a really, really beautiful pinks and yellows and purples. Really, really pretty. So it's 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 370 yards. I don't know if I'm going to make socks out of it, or if it's going to be a shawl. I really don't know yet, because it really is so beautiful. So that's all my acquisitions. I feel like it's been all the acquisitions, all the things this week, all the things. I think that is about it. Again, Bendigo is Friday. I'll be there Friday, Saturday. So I pick up the car. I don't think I said pick up the car Friday morning. Friday afternoon, well, when I get up there lunchtime-ish, I'm hoping to go to the Woolen Mills, which I've never been to before. And apparently they've got a back room which has some bargains in it. So I'm hoping to find myself some bargains. And then there is the Nanny and You Muster, which is at the Bowls Club near the actual Woolen show, Sheep and Wool Festival. So that is Friday till 9 o'clock, so I'm going to spend some time there. And take it from there. Saturday I'll spend all day at the show. So meetup will probably be on Saturday at some stage. It's hard to know what time. I'm thinking probably 12:30, 1 o'clock is going to be a good time. And that's what I'm going to suggest. I don't know where. I will need some wise people who've been there before who can suggest a really, really good place to meet. I think that there's a fashion parade at 2 and there's something, might be a cooking demonstration at 1, I'm not sure. Whatever it is, look, hey, if you can make it, you can. If you can't, you can't. I totally understand. So I'll put that information up in a Down Under Yarn in the Australian Knitters group, possibly in the Bendigo group as well. I think there was a RAV meetup last year, dinner on the Friday, but I don't think they're doing that this year. Anyway, that's enough of my ums. And until next week, I will say uru and cheers. Bye.